Mozina, you have the mic.
Thank you, Chairman Rowland and Commissioners. Supervisor Wasserman's resolution would be more appropriate as an op-ed on urban Milwaukee. It is not worthy of serious consideration by this committee. Please, supervisors, stop this nonsense here and now. But I'll give credit where credit is due. Supervisor Wasserman is 100% correct and justified in declaring that health misinformation is a public health crisis. The CDC and Dr. Anthony Fauci are the principal co-conspirators in the suppression of life-saving information, lying by omission, and foisting false and contradictory COVID-19 propaganda on the public via their mockingbird media minions. Literally hundreds of thousands of people have died because of following their version of, quote, the science. They have withheld crucial information about effective, life-saving, sequential multi-drug therapies for treating COVID-19. The progression of SARS-CoV-2 infection to life-threatening COVID-19 disease is well understood. Viral replication causes inflammatory reactions that result in blood clotting and a myriad of dangerous consequences. Each phase of disease progression can be treated with inexpensive, readily available medications, and many frontline doctors are ignoring the therapeutic nihilism preached by the CDC and Dr. Fauci and aggressively treating and curing people with COVID-19. That is an indisputable fact. The reasons for withholding this life-saving information are twofold. If the FDA, CDC, and Dr. Fauci would have admitted the efficacy of any of these treatment protocols, then emergency use authorization would never have been granted to any of these vaccines. The incestuous relationship between Big Pharma and the NIH, NIAID, CDC, FDA, and the WHO are thoroughly documented in Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s book, The Real Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, Big Pharma, and the Global War on Democracy and Public Health. Everyone needs to read this book. These entities and the principal investigators, university and hospital research departments, and the pharma advertising addicted mainstream media are all profiteering enormously by pushing the immunity by subscription, needles in arms, Rockefeller medicine model. Their erroneous lockstep focus on vaccination as the only solution to COVID is murderously obscene. They have failed to honestly investigate the reports of hundreds of thousands of serious vaccine adverse events documented in the CDC and FDA's VAERS system. When it suits their purpose to minimize the dangers of the injections, the CDC, FDA, and Dr. Fauci readily reference VAERS data. But when it comes to acknowledging the 19,532 deaths, 31,652 permanent disabilities, or 99,671 hospitalizations following vaccination, as reported as of November 26, 2021, they are mum. Except to reiterate that these reports have not been verified. It is unconscionable that after 2 years of pushing these injections, the CDC, FDA, NIH, and NIAID have all failed to investigate these reports. That is because if they did and honestly reported the results, no one would take the shots. It would undermine confidence in the vaccines, which is obviously more important to them than providing informed consent to the naive and trusting people who either by their own ill-informed choice or under coercion of having their livelihoods threatened or their freedoms of movement and association restricted have taken the jabs. Yes, there are problems with VAERS as a capture system, and busy doctors are not paid for the time they spend entering reports. This has been known for a long time, but efforts to revamp the system in 2010 were allowed to wither and die. The underreporting factor to VAERS has been variously estimated to range from only 1% to 40% of adverse events being reported. The systematic use of autopsies could reveal the etiology of the serious adverse outcomes post-vaccination, but they don't want to know. It suits their goal of getting needles in arms to keep us all ignorant. Unlike the introduction...
Mr. Mozina,
yes,
could I just interrupt real quick? Thank you. We're just going to have to... can I give you 30 seconds to conclude?
Okay, I appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Just,
warning.
and let's keep it focused to the resolution. Thank you.
Yes, I am focusing on the resolution by pointing out that the real source of the medical misinformation is Dr. Fauci and the CDC. They are the primary sources of the medical misinformation here. Please, sir, allow me to finish. I only have another minute. Unlike the introduction of every other vaccine for worldwide distribution, after 2 years, there is still no data safety monitoring board for the COVID vaccines. This is gross negligence and malfeasance on the part of those ostensibly responsible for world health. It is obvious that the COVID vaccines, masks, lockdowns, passports, and social distancing have nothing to do with health or safety. They are tools for social control. The CDC, FDA, Dr. Fauci, and their cast of propagandists and dissemblers have repeatedly provided false and contradictory information. Dr. Fauci has flip-flopped on the use of masks. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky used data from the first 6 months of 2021, when a low percentage of the population was vaccinated, to make the claim that we were experiencing a pandemic of the unvaccinated. There's a huge COVID accounting fraud being perpetrated, rooted in the use of RT-PCR tests with cycle thresholds far above those that might accurately identify replication-competent virus. People who died with COVID are lumped in with people who died from COVID. Relative risk reduction is used rather than absolute risk reduction because the former makes it look like vaccinations are providing more benefit than they are. The definition of fully vaccinated excludes the 6-week period after initial inoculation until the person has reached their full level of antibody titers. This is a convenient way to skew the numbers to the unvaccinated category. It is dishonest. They have changed the definitions of common terms like vaccination, herd immunity, pandemic, and gain of function, and they pretend that natural immunity either does not exist or that it cannot compete with vaccine immunity. Finally, when the COVID vaccines were introduced, we were promised they would stop infection and spread. They have done neither, and worse still, fully vaccinated people are being hospitalized and dying from COVID. Our freedoms are being incrementally undermined under the guise of protecting our health and keeping us safe. The mantra of people pushing vaccination and all of its accoutrements is that they trust the science. Dr. Fauci even had the audacity to claim he is the science. Let us not anthropomorphize the scientific method, which holds every conclusion conditionally, perpetually invites question and criticism. If Supervisor Wasserman had been on the scene when Dr. Semmelweis offered the common sense suggestion that doctors wash their hands between doing autopsies and delivering babies, he might have joined the chorus condemning as medical misinformation what is now axiomatic. Supervisors.
Thank you, Mr. Mozina. I think we're going to have to wrap there. Thank you for your
I appreciate the time. I apologize for going over time, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I believe that is the only public comment that I have seen on this item, at least signed up to